Two, and we're back.
Sweet. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Fate of the Woods. Um, Belladonna, man.
It's
That's
all very
rough.
chill here. Super low
That's
stress.
rough. Um, yeah. So, congratulations, Katerina,
Thank
for
you.
now. Let's check in with Qatar. I'm really excited to see what goes down in your world right now. So it's evening. I'm thinking that like the evening ceremony is going to start soon. Is there anything that you feel like a goal that Qatar wants to pursue? I want you to be in control of what, like the lens, even though this festival thing is happening, I want it to be from Qatar's perspective.
This is the next
Um,
day, the day of the challenge.
no, this is the evening one. So what's going to happen this evening is it's the portion of the festival that they actually do every year where they wait for the night to return to see if the old night returns. And then if not, then they decide to do the challenge the following day is the way that it works.
Okay.
So that they basically like announce that the trial will occur when at midnight the night doesn't return. So now we're just waiting for midnight basically. And this is like an important part of the ceremony.
Okay. I don't know if I think is there any way that Qatar can find out what his competition is going to be like? That would be the only
Yeah,
thing he'd be interested in at this point. How strong they are.
sure. Um, yeah, I mean, what sort of imagining we can play that out.
Okay. So at this ceremony, are all the knights present?
Yeah, so let's say that it's now about an hour later from where we just left off with Katerina and Belladonna. It's getting a little dark out now. Not dark, but like the sun is just set. Um, and the way that the festival starts is that there is this procession with drums, and we see the thorns. We still haven't decided on a number of thorns, but they are dressed in their like regalia now. They're not just like in their like regular clothes. They are in their like full like bishop pope ness. But like I think they have like almost like spines like in different styles that represent them as a thorn. And they have like thick like plated armor that's like bedazzled like jewels and metal accents. They look like godlike when they enter into this ceremony. And they walk um, side by side in like rows, as they come towards, it's the stage again in the town square, but now there's big torches blazing, um, and the thorns assemble on the stage, and you hear musicians start playing, and there is a small little chorus of people from the Brightwoods who are singing this song that they've prepared. That is sort of like of this like religious tone, that would be inspired by the religion of the kingdom of the religion of the rose or whatever. They're singing this song of the rose, and the thorns are standing. They're all like stoic. The flames are like guttering, and it's like casting these weird, spooky like shadows over their faces as they're standing there. And the knights are waiting in the wings again at the sides as they do. So you can see them um, standing on the sides of the stage again.
All
But
right.
yeah, so this song is happening. Nothing has really started yet.
So completely disinterested in this song.
Yeah.
Qatar is going to just slowly walk around the crowd, getting close enough, probably like 20 feet away from a knight, size them
Okay.
up, try and see how strong they are, and move over to the next one. See if any
Mhm.
one of them actually is any sort of a threat.
Yeah. So obeying one of the agreements from before is that you believe that Emmeline is the like chosen one.
Right.
Um, So maybe is your focus on Emmeline in particular because you have this belief about her?
No, probably because I've already seen Emmeline earlier in the day, so I
Okay.
have a good idea. In Qatar's head, the ranking is currently Emmeline, everyone else.
Yeah,
So it's now to rank everyone else and see if they stack up. But it's still going to
sure.
be Emmeline as the number one.
Okay. I think what you're doing here is trying to like create some kind of advantage for like the future events, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping to do.
Mhm.
Let's see what kind of. I think we can boil this down to a pretty like simple role. I don't know if there's anything that you want to do other than just sort of like observing them or. Um,
Just observation. I was wondering though that
yeah.
when it comes to Belladonna's son, since I'm observing them all closely,
Yeah.
I'd be able to tell that he is a child of the Ringwood.
Oh, that's a good question. Um, it's actually Belladonna's daughter.
Daughter.
We've decided. Yeah. You wouldn't know that she is Belladonna's daughter, obviously,
Right.
or would you? No, you wouldn't, because no one knows.
No one knows.
Would you tell that she's Fae? Can you typically tell automatically when someone's Fae? Do you think? I don't know
Probably
if we
not
decided
like
that.
immediately.
I think you could definitely roll your ringbound skill to like get a sense again to see if you can pick up on any more Faeness.
Okay, so it's like if Qatar gets any sense of that, then I'll use Ringbound. But other than that, I'm just gonna observe each one, and
Yeah.
they're actually tougher if they rest on the laurels of tradition.
Sure. I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
I do want to say though that the way I thought about Belladonna's daughter is that she's half Fae. She's not.
Oh.
She's a product of because she doesn't know she has any powers, and she has any
Right.
specific abilities or magic or anything like that. She's just grown up as a knight, according to her. She doesn't know that she belongs in the Ringwood. So
Right.
I think it's the product of Belladonna's courting with a member of the the kingdom.
Sure. I think the reason that she was taken though is because she is Fae and useful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, tell me something that you want to see, and we can figure out from there what actually happens. What would you like to see specifically?
Since the knights are all positioned in this very official procession and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I think how strongly they hold themselves would probably be the most important thing. Like someone
Yeah.
who is dutiful and ready to defend is probably a better fighter, or someone who is so impossibly aloof that they're like, if anything came, I'd just chop it in half.
Yeah.
The two extremes.
Sure. Okay. So I'll get you to roll to create an aspect. Let's name that aspect so that you can use it in the future to help you later on in the trial.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what a useful aspect would be. Maybe it could be something generic, maybe, and maybe it's like you've got your sort of like, what's the word?
Like instinct.
You've got like you've scanned them all. Like you've done a thorough scanning of all of the knights, essentially.
They
I
have
don't know
been weighed and measured.
Yeah, and then
and
you
have been
can
found wanting.
let's call it like weighed and measured or something like that.
Cool. Nice still reference.
And I'll get you to roll your observation.
Okay.
Because you're not looking for Faeness, you're just looking for like
Right.
general
Competence.
ability. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's observation. Is it observation? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the difficulty. What is the difficulty? Since you can use it, do you want it to be effective against any of the knights, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'll make it like a 4.
Let's see how this plays out. To weigh and measure my opponents.
Mm-hmm.
3.
Ooh. I wouldn't waste a fate point on it to like re-roll or anything. Okay. So I think what it is that you just don't have time. While you're scanning, the song abruptly stops or it actually reaches this fever pitch almost where the drums get louder and the choir gets louder. And then there's like a final sort of like drum beat.
Mhm.
And immediately the Thorn of Rampion says, "Hail, Brightwoods." And then there's like a hush. And I think your attention sort of immediately goes to this like loud booming voice of this woman who's speaking.
Mm-hmm.
We begin our final ceremony where we wait for our hero. And she looks about and she sort of begins this this speech describing all the traditions of the past, why we do this. And then, I don't think I want to go into what her speech is, but I think she calls for more music. And there's like a dance and another performance. It's going to be like a night of just like music and performances basically while we wait. And I think, do we want to just fast forward until a little bit later on in the evening? Is there anything else you want to do?
Is there any channel of communication between Qatar and the other sword masters or Florian?
Ooh. Because Florian is a relationship, if you want to like start a little scene with Florian, we can make it work in the fiction.
Okay.
Because you have him as your only relationship, and yeah, you can do that. Do you want to have a scene with Florian?
Yes. I think that Qatar would, once the festivities begin and he knows nobody's coming out, he just silently heads into the woods and goes to the usual place he enters from.
Okay. Is Florian expecting you? Let's hash out why. Was this maybe pre-planned or something to meet up?
I think that Florian actually, I think it's like when you enter the Ringwood and you have the Ringed Eye, as soon as you enter, you're in the location that you want to be.
Oh.
Because it's like time space wibbly wobbly.
Right.
Timey-wimey.
So it's like you walk through the wood, but once you cross the barrier, you're in the place that you want it to be.
Cool. Let's say that's true, unless it's dramatically interesting for that to like for some reason get like messed up.
If I think it's the thing that's like if they don't want you to be there, you don't have access, then you can't.
Yeah.
If Florian was like, I don't want to see you right now, you'd end up in a general area or something.
Sure. Yeah. So you're just gonna head into the Ringwood?
Yep.
Okay, to find Florian. Yeah, let's put some scene aspects on this. Where are we? Are we Florian's like, where do you want to be? Where do you want this to be?
I think that behind Florian's like strange estate is like this pond.
Okay.
And it's just like this gorgeous area, and there's this like bridge that walks out on top of the pond, and then a circle, and like sometimes training happens right there.
Oh, in the middle of the pond.
Right.
Cool.
And instead of arriving into the front of the estate, Qatar, for some reason, is behind it and near this pond, and Florian is in the middle, like looking up at all the stars, and there are like way more stars in the sky here than there are in the mundane world, and there are like little firebugs and stuff, but like some of them are pixies, some of them are other things. The trees are like glowing this luminescent like what's the like aurora borealis of colors.
Yeah.
That are just like shimmering.
I kind of imagine a lot of like I don't know why I'm associating this with Florian, but like willow trees. Is that cool if there's like a lot of like a grove of willow trees around this pond?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and maybe they've got that like opalescent, iridescent sort of like shimmer going up and down the strands of the willow trees.
Yeah.
Almost like jellyfish tentacles. Yeah. Let's write down a couple aspects for that. What could be interesting or useful? Shimmering
Aspect.
tree.
Goddamn gorgeous.
Goddamn.
Aspect. Bisexual lighting.
Is it gay in here or is it just me?
I was about to get super gay in here. Any other aspects you want to put in here, DC?
Nothing that I can think of. No.
Okay.
I'm in Qatar mind, so I am very straight to the point.
Okay.
This is talking to Florian, so it's going to be way longer than he wants it to be.
I'll add just a couple of details that you mentioned, like the bridge to the training ground could be a thing. I don't know if it'll come into play, but we'll see. Pixies? None of these might not be useful at all, but you know. Okay.
We'll see.
So you step into the ringwood, and as soon as you step in through this, like all of a sudden you're stepping into this grove of glowing willow trees, basically. And night has fallen. And you see in the center of this pond, in this sort of like little island, almost in the middle, you see a figure that is at least like 8.5 feet tall. Their limbs are like alien-esque, like they're incredibly long and gangly. There's something about even their legs too that have that sort of like almost like there's one too many joints.
Yeah.
In the way that they sort of stand, and they have this sort of like swagger in the way that they're standing because they're so gangly. And they turn to look at you, and their face is wooden, and then branches out and up into these branches out of their head, and they've got the willow, the willow. I don't know what you would call them. They're almost like vines, kind of, right? Like what are
Branches, I think?
Yeah, they're like these very dangly.
It's like
bits
those
off.
dangly. Yeah, they've got these like their hair is basically those the willowy
like tendrils.
Yeah, tendrils falling down in this really beautiful way. And they turn not completely to look at you. They turn towards you and then don't say anything and wait for you.
Qatar just moves onto the bridge and starts heading forward. And probably puts one hand on his sword, just on the hilt, kind of comfortably, and just keeps moving forward. I think Qatar would probably like say out from kind of a distance, like, "You're boring."
And what? You're interesting?
Much more interesting than you.
Oh, my darling. And they stroke their hair, and it sort of flutters a little bit. How is your little excursion out in the Bright Woods?
Well, I've already made some enemies. It's always pleasant. And I think I figured out a way to become much more powerful than I am now.
Is that so?
Yes. Hopefully, you'll actually raise a real sword to me one day.
You would like that, wouldn't you?
You know I would.
And they sort of like saunter towards you in this sort of shambly way that they would because their limbs are so awkward, and crouch down to get a little bit closer to your level and just like touch your nose very gently and say, "It's good to see you, Qatar."
Qatar like would try to move away. It has a reflexively thing, but it's like I couldn't shoo this person's hand away with all
Right.
my might. It's like I wish I could say the same.
Okay. And they go to turn around and sort of look back out to the stars and say, tell me what you've been up to. Entertain me,
I'm going to cause some trouble.
as usual.
I've decided that I'm going to compete in the human competition tomorrow to enter the
Oh.
Brightwoods as their champion.
Their champion,
Should be
Qatar, you little devil. Are you meddling in their affairs?
I don't really care about their affairs.
Oh,
More so what being their champion would give me access to.
and tell me, what would that give you access to?
Well, there are certain rules and behaviors that must be upheld for the champion in this space.
Yes, of course.
They would help me on my journey.
Oh, how could I ever forget? To usurp me and the new master, right? And they lean in and smile at you. Isn't it right, little car?
Yes.
And they turn away again.
I have a question. Somewhat unrelated.
Oh,
The barrier between the Ringwood and the mundane world.
mhm.
What would happen if that breaks?
I'm not quite sure. I wasn't always there until you know who arrived.
Yes, I'd actually like to meet them at some point.
I'm sure they would love to meet you too.
I mean, I'd like to announce myself as the Swordmaster of the Feywild and Ringwood, all those sorts of old names you call it. But
Well, you can keep dreaming, Qatar. It's always good to dream.
do you know why humans have dreams, Fey creature?
Why's that?
To look into the future.
Can you see into the future, Qatar?
We'll find out.
What do you see?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I suppose you'll surprise me.
I always tell you the truth. But there are things I don't tell you just for that look on your face when you're surprised. The greatest surprise of all will be when you're looking down at the tip of my sword, ashamed of yourself for having lost to a human.
I will relish that moment, Qatar, when it comes, certainly. And they're like just fucking with you. Should we have a little spar, maybe? Just for old time's sake.
Now,
Why not?
that's unlike you. Sure.
I'm bored. Not to the death or anything. That wouldn't be fun.
I would love to, but as much as I would enjoy that, today is not that day.
And what is it that you want? I know that we agreed to meet, and I agreed. So, what's happening out there? What do you need?
I'm going to fight tomorrow, and usually there wouldn't be an issue, but I think there's someone who may pose some sort of a threat.
A threat to you, but aren't you destined to be the master?
Yes, but I'm not destined to be the champion. That might be in someone else's hands. But threads of destiny move like these trees here. Sway with the wind.
And you would like my help?
How about this? I win our little spar.
Mhm.
You help me,
Okay.
free of charge. If you win, what is it that you want?
Oh,
for it?
guitar. You know what it is that I want.
Boring.
Oh, no. That's where you're wrong. It could be so much fun. You just don't know yet.
I've heard tale of the last person you had fun with. No one's seen them.
Well, they got boring, and my sword was ready, and
I will, if I lose, I will bring you a student
why would I want a student?
because they're interesting.
Do you know someone interesting?
I do.
And who might that be?
A knight. With a
A
heart.
knight.
Yes.
Oh, with a heart. How sweet.
Yes, a special heart.
Mm-hmm.
The one whose destiny might be standing in my way. If there's someone who can stand in my way, would it not be at least some small interest to you to see them?
Only if they're useful to me.
That's not
Only
something
if-
I decide, but it's a risk that's on the table. We all know what useful to you can mean.
So we spar. If you win, I do what exactly?
You help me. Give me an overwhelming strength. Make them weak. I don't care. Whatever. Fey magic. Even teach me something new. If you can.
Why do you always underestimate me? I know that you don't actually.
I just like the way that your face lights up when I say such things.
You are the only one, Qatar, who speaks to me this way, and you are the only one that I allow to speak to me this way. Please don't forget that. Okay, so I help you, I teach you something. I'm sure I could think of something. And if I lose, somehow, or sorry, if I succeed, you bring me a knight who will join us, become
And
a
they
sword
can't
master.
leave.
Sorry?
They can't leave. You have all the time in the world.
Can you guarantee that they'll come? Qatar.
By force, if necessary.
Very good. As long as you bring them.
You bring them, you train them, see if they are of interest.
My sister, and they turn for a moment, and my sibling. I am so worried for them. You know that Florian's sibling is Iris, by the way.
Oh, I see.
I tried to keep my eyes on what's happening in the eye, but it's difficult to peer into the one true eye without getting all, well, you know. I need assistance. So if you think that this night can help me breach the eye, certainly.
Who better than a knight who is trained in the ways of dipping their mind into the eye, as much as they think they do, anyway.
Shall we duel?
Sure. I've learned a few things.
Good.
Qatar slowly brings out a sword and moves it in a flowery, airy way to kind of a mocking gesture. It's like this is the style that like is originally taught before you form your own.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Florian does this thing where their hand stretches, and as their hand stretches, this blade sort of like grows out of their hand.
Yeah.
Made of like vines, and it like twists into this very spindly, thin like rapier,
Right.
and then the vines coil around their hand to create the what is that part of it called? What the heck is it called?
Which part?
The part of the blade that like
Hand.
protects their hand.
It's,
Yeah, like the guard.
yeah, it's a basket hilt if it's a thing that's going around the hand.
Yeah, and they flourish it upwards, and a bunch of pixies sort of like scatter dramatically, and then they lower the rapier and point towards you, and they sort of drop into this swaggery stance. Ready, Qatar?
Qatar like gets completely still, and like the water around the pool gets really still as well. And then he nods.
Then the
Excellent.
anime theme song starts playing.
Yeah, it does. Let's. I really just want to explore this like fight scene.
But I can do 5 hours of this. You guys do your thing.
I just need to get a blanket and some popcorn and just pause for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let's do. Let's turn this into a contest. It'll be a quick one.
Okay.
Our first
But
contest, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll do like a. Let's do like a best of. Let's do first person to like 3 successes. No, let's not do that. 2, like best out of 3, basically. We'll keep it kind of short. So the way that this works is that you're going to be using your melee. I think they're also going to be using their melee, so there's no need to like worry about the positioning rules that are in my document. We'll just be up close. The way that it works is that we roll melee. It's really simple. If you succeed, then you get like a point towards like winning this contest. If you fail, then you don't. If you want, and if you fail, you can take a consequence to basically like negate that success of your opponent.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Cool. So I think Florian, being the person that they are, lets you go first. It's just sort of waiting to see what you do.
Okay. So the first thing that Qatar is going to do is, and I'm just completely stealing this from something else, is going to try to empty their mind and move in with an attack without having any known intent in their mind, and that's one of the things that was taught.
Cool.
And goes forth to probably goes in to like move the rapier and then spin around and strike very quickly.
Right.
Solid opener.
Perfect.
I would also like to use a stunt.
Yeah.
Know your enemies. Once per session, I can create an aspect about a ringwood creature who is trying to do harm to me.
I think that's fair. Yeah. What do you know? What do you know about Florian?
I know that based on how you fight, the emotions that come out when you fight, Florian might humor you and give you an opening to actually strike.
Okay.
And will like never actually let you do it, but it's like this opportunity. And so Qatar believes that he is now strong enough to, if he gets that opportunity, to actually punish the opening.
Cool. So like Florian will like smugly leave an opening because they're so self-confident in their ability, obviously. Yeah, that works. So that's another aspect that's on the scene now, basically, that you can use to your advantage. It's not powered up or anything. You don't get a free use of it, but you can use your fate point. And it makes sense.
I'm just going to keep that in my back pocket for right now.
But it's also a thing that you know about Florian for the future, too.
So just melee?
Yeah, melee, and I'll roll Florian's melee as well.
Oh, and I'm going to invoke Dangerous.
Okay.
I'm motherfucking danger.
This is so good.
I almost want to like make that stunt a little bit better and give you one free use of it, like the very first time.
You did. It says every
part of
use after costs 1 fate point.
After, okay, so yeah, you do get one. So you'll get +2 basically on your first roll here.
Yeah.
Look him up.
Let me find. I don't even know if I've made a Florian. Oh, I have. Okay.
And 0 difficulty because we're just clashing our.
What's Florian's like number in terms of
6.
Many.
Many, yeah.
Florian is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Well, nothing but pluses.
Strike a clean blow against the Fae.
Oh, what happened?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Did it work? Oh yeah, it did.
6 to 5.
Ooh,
wow.
nice. Okay.
I have learned, Florian.
So Florian like starts laughing, totally like caught off guard. Qatar, feisty, aren't you? And then they whirl around and ready themselves again, and then do this really sweet move where, because their legs are almost like antelope legs, jump to the side of you and then go to do like a thrust at you. How do you react?
I feel like at this point Florian like is taking it up a level.
Yeah.
And the speed at which that happens is like something that's hard to even convey.
Yeah, it's almost superhuman when they move. They're like, and then just like a thrust right at you.
So I'm going to play out half of this first, and the
and then
immediate
roll.
reaction that Katara is going to have is in its mind. There's like this image of a fey, like nature based like shield that is in the shape of a sword, or at least has like a sword on it or something like that. And he's like summoning this kind of magic that is to like react with a parry or a strike that will deflect the blow, and is hoping that this works.
Cool.
So it's just going to be with no bonuses.
I don't know why that.
To defend from a deadly blow. Another 6.
What?
I need to steal DC's dice rolling mojo or something.
Roll20 really likes me in most games.
Yeah.
It got a +6 though. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. I like
So
it.
yeah. So how do you respond to the rapier coming at you?
So I think Katara is going to hold the sword like this, facing downward, so that it comes in and it strikes, but it like clashes with the energy. But Katara completely underestimated how much power, even though he was like, oh, it's gonna be it was like, no, you're a fool, and like strikes through, and that counts as a victory, and Katara gets pushed back. But as he's pushed back, the water behind is like whoosh.
Yeah, perfect.
Like, the amount of power that was just shown was like, you don't know how deep this well goes. It's like,
Qatar, don't get smug.
I suppose then that it's time to get serious.
They push some hair out of their face. I'm always serious, Qatar. And then just comes charging right at you. What do you do?
I know this is a duel.
This is the final one, basically.
But this is it. First, I'm going to invoke Dangerous again and spend a point. And actually, I have 2 points, so I'm going to spend another point to invoke the Know Your Enemy. Or actually, I have to use one for the Kopashan Hisatatsu.
Oh wait, no, but you can't use it because you're not actually trying to kill Florian.
Oh, but like
it's only to kill.
I'm actually trying to. Okay, then I'll just use Know Your Enemies again.
Okay.
And Dangerous.
Yeah. So you're oh, I think I actually misread your stunt, but that's okay. So basically what it would do is you would spend a fate point to create an aspect, but it actually wouldn't give you an advantage. So what you could do is, this is another thing you can do. Before you could attack, you could use another skill of some kind to create an advantage if you want. Like some kind of like manipulation of the scenery or something.
Okay, I know what I'm going to do.
Or just use another aspect that's already on the scene too.
I think that instead of using the Kopashan Hisatsu, on okay, so that's just intent to kill. I want to use the Kopashan Hisatsu without striking to kill, so no bonus.
Okay, so you're using your powers, but you're not really using your stunt.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want to use it to have all of the fairy like bugs around explode at once.
Okay, so you can use a fate point to like activate those pixies then.
Right. Like I'm striking all of these pixies and there's just this huge flash and I'm hoping to use this opportunity.
To get an opening.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So use 2 fate points then.
So
Last roll.
you see Qatar enter the stance where like he takes the sword and he puts his hand over it and like wipes it and then sheaths it.
Okay.
And then he says like Kopasan Hisatsu. And Florian is like that's like
Whoa.
your children. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden this of light just explodes from around. And then Qatar is behind Florian in that moment and just
Ooh.
goes for just like a strike along the back. That would just like cut through their clothes, but
Yeah.
not actually harm them.
Okay.
Nothing
Rerolling.
personal, Florian. The badass climax. 7.
Ooh.
My God.
Yes.
Since chat can't see, that's a 5.
Oh yeah, it's rolling weird right now. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, yes. So, so Florian comes charging towards you. There's this blast of light as the pixies scatter, and they get disoriented, and then all of a sudden you're behind them.
Yep.
And feels your blade in their back, and just puts their hands up and gives this like really awesome like Qatar. I went easy on you this time. I hope you know. And they turn around.
You obviously want the knight.
Obviously. So what's their name? Tell me their story.
Their name is Emmeline. Something when I was looking through the knights, they seemed as if they were the one that would become the champion, or at least stand in my way. But there's something strange about them, as if they don't want to be where they are. And I know that feeling.
You know that the knights will never take the ropes.
Of course.
Unless they're willing to finish them.
I'm not a knight.
Do you think this Emmeline would be up for it?
It would take a lot of convincing.
Good, and you better convince them.
I just convinced you, didn't I?
You did. Okay, Qatar, don't get excited.
Seems
How
like
can
you're
I-
the one who's excited.
I can't help myself. What do you need me to do for you?
Teach me something. Give me a strength. Whatever your Fey ways must do in order for me to be assured victory.
Okay. I think they come, so everything gets really quiet in the grove. The pixies completely snuff out, and the stars go completely black too. Like all of a sudden it's just really dark, and it's almost like there's just a little bit of like light just around the two of you. And at first they grow up they get very tall, like at their full height, like just towering over you, and their horns start to shimmer, and then they come down and get like so close to your face, and they just breathe into your face, and you inhale this sweetly scented like aroma that smells like cedar or like a woody smell or scent, and their eyes just glimmer this bright golden light as they breathe into you, and they say, "You have a piece of the core. Just a small piece. It should help you." And then they pull away, and everything kind of snaps back into the way that it was.
What in a motherfucking Ringwood for? And I am so interested.
I don't have time for your questions. You made it very clear, Qatar, that you don't want to spend any more time in my company. So take what I've given you and come back a winner.
I might just bring a friend anyways. We'll see.
Bring the one you promised.
Of course.
Good.
None of the rest seem to have any promise.
Okay, run along.
No, Qatar starts walking away, and as he walks across the bridge, sees like all of the beautiful sky and all the trees and everything, and looks down at the water and sees no reflection of anything on the water, like this magical, crazy Fey water.
Yeah.
And it's like, hope they don't drink that, and walks off, thinking of Emmeline.
Yeah, cool. And I think Florian just stares off after you, smirking. Yeah, I think that's the end of that scene. I am going to give you an aspect that has 2 free uses on it. That is this like core essence that has been breathed into you, so that you can use it to help you out.
I will bring Emmeline into the Ringwood to train underneath Florian.
And I think it's like a physical stamina thing. It's like extra. It's like a mystical breath, basically. So anything like physical, it would help you with.
All right.
I don't like it.
I love it.
Hey, we'll talk about it. You know, we'll have
I'm sure it's gonna be all talking.
all
That's
talk.
Just talking.
Qatar doesn't like fighting unless it's Florian. And if it's Florian, then all that. will happen.
Operation Get Everyone in Trouble is a go.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a point in the show where we're all in the Ringwood just running around like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Space
Totally.
time.
So we've got like half an hour left. It'll probably take us about like 10 minutes to do the wrap-up part where we go over our goals and everything. So we've got maybe like 20 minutes. Does anyone want to do anything currently? Because I was going to do the festival thing where the elder announces, but I don't we can do something before that.
I'd be happy to end on that. I guess, Amir, you have something.
Well, I wanted to actually offer something.
Okay.
Because that entire conversation happened in the Ringwood.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wanted there to be a scene with Belladonna and the Rose, sort of letting the Rose know that the Piotr thing is taking longer than expected.
Okay.
So, but Belladonna also wants her daughter to win the task tomorrow.
Mhm.
So it is completely not in her interest what just happened. So if she were there to want to talk to the Rose and she sort of overheard or oversaw anything, then she'd sort of want to stop it, wouldn't she?
With Florian,
Yeah.
I don't know if you would see that.
That would be in a completely different part of the woods?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we can do that scene whenever, or it could just have happened off screen.
It's up to you if you wanna pursue that. Do you feel like that's part of your goal now? I don't know.
No, it could just happen off screen. It's not really a thing that's present. It would only be valuable to me if it like bled into something else. But if it's happening in two completely different areas, then it's not a thing.
Okay. So in that case, Emmeline is at the festival currently because it's the thing, the ceremony. Qatar is heading back. Katerina and Piotr are running away from wherever you were. We'll find out where. I don't know if we'll get back to Katerina yet, and Piotr. We'll find out. And so, what are you doing then, Belladonna? Are you heading back to town?
I'm heading back to the tavern.
Okay.
Because now I'm there to collect some information about tomorrow.
You were promised some stuff. Maybe we can do a couple quick things then. Sure, let's do that first. So you arrive. What do we name?
Erin.
I gave her a last name though.
Last name?
But we named Braggett.
Braggett, that's right.
Yeah, Erin Braggett. And you arrive at the tavern. What do we call it? The Comb and Stinger? Is that what it is?
The tavern's name?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But let's call it the Comb and Stinger.
Comb or something. Yeah.
Yeah. She makes this excellent honey ale. So you arrive, and it's a little bit quiet because most people are out in the town square.
And I sort of walk in slowly, knowing that this is my job, but pretty much defeated at this point, and walk slowly up to the bar where Erin is waiting. And I just go, I need a honey ale immediately.
You look like you need a honey ale. And she turns and fills a pitch, like a cup for you and hands it back to you.
Take the cup, and I take out my wand and stir it with my wand very slowly. And then I take the wand out and sort of just like lick it back to front and put it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
What form are you in, by the way? I'm always curious what form. Like Belladonna form now?
Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah.
And I sort of take a little sip from it, and I look over at Erin and I say, how's the night been?
Business has been good. But I'm assuming that's not what you're asking.
Of course not, but I figure some small talk might soften the blow.
Oh, don't even.
All right, well then let's get to it. She sort of takes a second to herself and downs the entire mug, in one gulp, and puts it down. What do you know?
What do you know? She says.
Well, I know what it is you're seeking. So, I need an answer from you. What task is being performed tomorrow for the knights?
Okay, so I'm going to do a roll because you're basically using Erin's skill to find out about this.
Yes.
And we gave Erin... Let me find Erin. Rank 3, Kingdom Bound, Brightbound.
So it's Bright bound, essentially, right? Or is it Kingdom bound?
Who do you think organizes the trial?
Let's say the Kingdom. No.
I
would
think
say
it's the
that-
kingdom because I think
I think
Brightwood
it's
is the Brightwoods are just like hosting.
Yeah, I think they would organize the trial. Okay, so the way that this is going to work is I'm going to set a difficulty for it. This is like top secret stuff. Actually, I don't even know if it's that top secret, because they're going to have to do the trial anyway.
Yeah, but I don't think. Do the Knights know yet? I don't think the Knights know.
I don't know if it's a tradition to like keep it a big secret,
Okay.
unless you think that it should be.
Well,
I
I
feel
feel
like-
like if it isn't kept a secret, then some Knights could be studying up on it or having different. I don't know.
What's the information that you're trying to get?
Is what the task is?
I kind
And-
of like the idea that it is a secret, but most of these knights are close to their thorns, and somebody has to decide what the trials are. So it's probably the thorns. So there's like some rumors that filter throughout, and so like Aaron would be piecing together those rumors.
Yeah, and I sort of really want to know if anyone has an edge to win.
Right.
If anyone's favored to win.
Okay. Like if anyone. Ooh.
I'm favoring Emmeline.
Yeah, let's so I haven't really decided on what the trial is. So tell me what you want it to be, and depending how this roll goes, we'll like figure that out.
Here, what I would like is for it not to be anything that's physical, that's particularly melee based. That it would be a trial of the mind
Mhm.
of some sort,
Right.
or trial of willpower, or something like that,
Yeah, you mentioned that to me before.
or something like each knight having to face their worst fear, something that would require something that isn't a physical sort of one-on-one melee thing.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
So I like Dylan's idea that the Council of Thorns or whatever, organizes the trial. But what if it's like a series of contests? And so maybe there's this like every year, it's like the same kind of grab bag of contests, but there's like a couple that people don't know what they are. And so that way there's like a variety between, just straight up physical contests
Mhm.
and contests of will. And maybe there's a couple thrown in there of like social grace because you're supposed to be meeting the rose. So you need to know how to talk to it. It just kind of runs like the gamut of like chivalrous tests or something like that.
Right.
Hmm.
And so the task we'd always be wanting to find out is sort of the final task, maybe, between the last two knights standing. And that's the one that always changes for some reason, or like that's one of the ones that is generally the most difficult.
Okay.
So if it's sort of weeding them out as it goes, then the final big task is the one that's. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Do you have an idea of what it could be though? Because I know you don't want it to be physical.
I like the idea of like a test of willpower or a test of some
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah, I'm with you on that. Do you have anything in mind? I'm like trying to think of like what would be like a spectator sport that isn't physical. It's like hard for me to like envision this.
The vessel with the pestle has the brew that is true. That's a really old reference. Sorry, but like a duel of wits kind of thing. Like who can outwit the other, sort of like Princess Bride style, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, like it can't
Ooh,
be.
chess is good.
Ooh, like a tactical.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
I don't think that makes as much sense for being the last thing as much
Yeah.
as one of the things previous.
Yeah, I think I agree.
but something along those lines.
Mhm.
I'm guessing
Maybe.
it could.
What if it's like a magical contest? What if it's like not their magic powers against each other, but like they are
But
put
against
in
magic?
they're put in an illusory situation.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, what if it's a sort of? I was thinking like Goblet of Fire. I'm thinking, what if it's like a labyrinth
Mhm.
that is sort of you trying to find sort of what is a physical representation of the rose, which is hidden somewhere in the middle of that. And then there's trials of like fey knowledge and combat and a mind puzzle and or like
Sacrifice.
yeah, all of that on the way, and whoever gets there first is the one who succeeds. So that's something spectators can watch sort of from above, but it contains everything, and it's sort of like a race. But it's not specifically physical in terms of melee stuff.
Sure. Yeah, that works. I'll have to like figure out like a contest of some kind that I can run when we get to that
It's
session.
like a series of contests.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't want to take up the whole episode though, because I still want everyone to be
But I
able to
don't want it to take the whole episode.
like people to pursue their like goals and stuff too, and not just do a contest for the whole episode.
Totally.
Oh, I think
But
we're
then
going to be
also
pursuing
then
our
how
goals
about-
anyway.
So then, how about the information that Belladonna really wants to find out is who's favored to win? Because the task itself isn't, because she can manipulate it any way she wants, as long as she knows who's rumored to be a contender.
Sure. Here are the things that this is what we'll do. I will set the difficulty. I will get Erin to roll. If she ties, you'll get to ask one question. If she succeeds by one, you'll get to ask two questions, etc.
Okay.
And I might not know all the answers, but you'll know the answers
Totally.
from this.
By the next session.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say it's secretive, but it's not like, I'm sure there are leaks given the way that things work. So I'll say it's like a difficulty 3.
Yeah, I mean, if Emmeline's any evidence, the knights are really good at following the rules.
Okay, you get 2 questions things that you'll know from about this.
Okay.
Like who's favored to win, obviously.
Right. So my first question is, so I look at her after I've just like downed my honey ale. I say, which knights are favored to win?
Well, from what I've heard, there are some, as they always do, who put on an air of wanting to win, but they don't want to win. Because they never come back. But there is one who is determined. Absolutely determined, from what I've heard. Do you want to know?
That's not question 2, is it?
No. And she sort of like, she pours herself some ale and swirls the ale around for a moment.
And I sort of take my hand and place it gently but firmly, slowly but firmly on hers.
Mhm.
And I look at her and I go, you know, I don't do well with suspense.
Sorry, I'm just I'm just reading my notes as a GM. So
And
she,
end of episode.
she looks up at you and says, "Are you familiar with Dame Axnis Brassica, the daughter of the Thorn of Rampion? The one that they adopted all those years ago?"
And Belladonna's eyes glaze over for 2 seconds as the answer she wanted the most just like crosses her face, and a small crack of a smile starts to creep its way onto her face, and she quickly brushes it off and goes, "Yes, I believe I have heard of her. She was taken at such a young age, and apparently she's doing well."
She's shown much promise, from what I've heard, and they are determined. House Brassica, Lady Nusha, the Thorn of Rampion, is determined for her daughter, her beloved daughter, to succeed.
Ah,
Unusual, really, but
well, I have one more question for you.
certainly.
From what you've heard, what could possibly keep this knight from succeeding?
And she grins, like this like wicked smile, and I think we'll cut to black on that scene. While I spend the next 2 weeks.
I
Yeah.
think I use my questions wisely. I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys. Like,
Cool.
Yeah.
Final scene. We are in the town square. Everyone, it's later now in the evening. It's almost midnight. It's very close to midnight, and everyone is waiting. The Thorns are sitting on these thrones, facing out towards the woods. The people have congregated at the gate of the town, and they're looking down the road towards the Ringwood, and they're doing this thing where they're all wait. It's complete silence because like midnight is this close, and they're waiting. Yeah, I don't know if I guess Emmeline is there. Qatar, are you here again? Yeah. Well, I guess you would need to be here. Yeah, and so the Thorns are staring out into the Ringwood. It's complete silence. It's like the moment of silence where everyone is like basically holding their breath, waiting to see if this knight arrives. There's just silence. And the Thorns stand and they say, and so it is done. And the people not like sort of bow their heads solemnly. It is with a heavy heart that we accept the fate of our dearly departed Knight of the Rose. And they take a moment of silence. And after a few minutes, the Thorn of Rampion steps forward and says, "It is time now to announce and present our champions for the trial tomorrow. May I present my beloved daughter." And this knight with like long, beautiful, like purple hair steps forward. And she is strong. She just solemnly stands at the side of Lady Nusha, holding her sword. The Thorn of Glass nods to Emmeline and says, "May I present Dame Emmeline Grimminger?"
Yep.
Emmeline steps forward.
So,
And
dudes.
all of the Thorns do the same and bring their knights forward and say, "These are your champions for tomorrow's trial." And at that moment, we hear a voice say, "Wait! There is one more." And sort of parting, there's like hushed murmurs. And the crowd parts a bit for where the elder was sort of sitting in her own seat, and she stands up. She's probably, we didn't describe her last time, but she's in her like mid to late 60s. And she walks forward, and she has actually a stick that she uses to walk. And she steps forward and she says, "The Brightwoods offer a champion." And all of the thorns look at one another because this is not a thing that is. Lord Xander looks to Emmeline and shoots you this like nervous glance, and then looks out and says, "What claim do you have, Elder?" She says, "It is written in the history books that the Brightwoods may offer their own." And there's more murmuring and excitement in the audience or in the crowd. And Lady Nusha steps forward and says, "It is known, though why? Why would you bring one forward?" And Elder Rosamanya steadies herself and she says, "No one has come back yet. None of your knights have returned. Wouldn't it be advantageous that we add another to the pool? Someone who may know more about the Ringwood." And she sort of glances around looking for Qatar. And where does she find you?
Oh, she can't see me yet. I'm waiting.
And so
You
now
son of a bitch.
all the thorns are like, shit. Like they're all looking at each other like, what? And Xander gets kind of indignant, but sort of still keeps his poise and says, "Well, who do you propose, Elder Rosamanya?"
Now, is there a... Qatar still wants to be a legend for the reasons of riches, fame, and all that shit for his family. So this has to be an important moment. Is there a like platform where they're hanging out and stuff?
Yeah.
So I want to use one of my... I get this like per day or whatever, right? The breath thing? Or this is just
You
like...
want to use it? You know what? I'll just let you do it. Just tell me what you want to do. I won't make
Okay.
you roll for it. So, don't worry
So
about it.
just to make it look like I have supernatural abilities or something.
Yeah.
I want to jump from like some dark area and land onto the stage, first facing all of the thorns.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then,
wait. What reaction do you want from them? Because maybe I will make you roll.
to be absolutely either terrified or surprised. One of the two.
Okay. I will get you to roll your fitness.
All right. Where's my... Do I have fitness on here?
I don't think you're the most fit. But that's okay.
Sort
Can
of,
you roll melee instead? Do like a flourish?
Uh,
A weapon
you wanna-
flourish?
well, what do you think, DC? Are you okay with rolling your fit? You do have fitness. It's just not your best skill.
Oh yeah, it is average.
Yeah.
You
You can still
Yeah.
try it.
Sure.
Why not?
Let's do it.
And you just want them to feel what exactly?
Aw?
I want people to feel awe. Like this is
Okay.
a moment of arrival before the people.
Okay.
Actually, can I do charisma?
I'm not going to. Charisma? Sure. Yes, I'll let you use charisma. And if you want to use one of your breath of the core things to like power it up.
Okay. Let's use one.
More than welcome to. Yep.
Yeah.
Depending on what you get, it'll decide what rank of person is impressed by you.
Okay.
So like you'd have to get like a 6 to impress the thorns, but like to get like the average town person, like a 2 or a 3, and you're like at
Correct.
least impress the like crowd.
Oh, I got a 1.
Ooh.
So here's what happens. They aren't necessarily unimpressed. They are like all sort of like aghast by this.
Are they like offended?
Yeah, there's a bit of like offense to this in the
Yeah.
crowd.
Compensate.
Yeah. And what do you say when you leap out onto the stage?
I'm gonna look at all of the thorns, and I'm going to flash my ringed eye at them.
Mhm.
Throw a quick wink to Xander.
look over at Emmeline, nod.
I'm like glaring daggers, by the way.
Oh yeah,
My
just-
best friend.
Xander's teeth are grit so hard right now.
Oh,
As soon as he realizes that it's you,
Tar's holding in a smile, like the largest. He's trying to keep it cool. And he turns around and he says, he pulls out his sword, but with the sheath, and he says, "I, the sword master Qatar, born here on this very land, will enter the Ringwood for you, the people,
and there's
not
murmurs
for knights or thorns or legends of gods, but for the liberation of the Brightwood. The rose will be free."
and a bunch of them murmur again, and some of them look to Rosamunde, and she shuts them like, I've made this decision. And Lady Nusha, the Thorn of Rampion, says, "Very well. We accept you, Qatar, as another champion. Good luck tomorrow." And people are confused, and they're all sort of talking, and the Lady Nusha looks out upon the crowd and says, "We will begin at noon tomorrow with the trial." Good evening.
So, can I try and kind of just kind of like spout lore here? Is there like a city chant or something, like basically like a huzzah, but
Yeah.
like specific to the town or something?
Sure.
Can I roll charisma and do it and see if people will respond with it, so that I'm like their champion, and just to
Okay.
piss off the Thorns and have everyone like not even on my side, just not on their side.
You just want the town to be converted?
Oh yeah, really to piss off the Thorns. But
Okay. Like the whole crowd?
oh yeah, all the
Okay.
Brightwood Woodians.
That's a big roll. What does that do? Let's check really. I think it's like I said. So the like 2 to 5 people is like a difficulty 4. Like 20 to like around 20ish people is like a difficulty 5. So if it's like 50 to 100 people that you're trying to like win over, it's like a difficulty 6.
If I can just get the front of the crowd.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, just win some people over. Let's just do difficulty 4 then.
Alrighty,
We get some fans. We'll have like a small group of fans.
right. I got no
Yeah.
bonuses. I'm just going in.
Yeah.
Good luck,
Good luck.
dude.
To win the hearts of my fans. There should be an S in there. There we go. Cool. There's like 5 people.
Yeah. No one sold on it.
There's
That's
like some
okay.
old guy who's like, yeah.
A dog
Um,
barks.
So
I got an old man and a dog.
they wrap up the festivities, and then as they're walking off of the platform, Xander leans in to Emmeline and says, "He won't be attending the trial."
They're gonna murder me.
Yeah.
I look at Xander from the corner of my eye. What would you have me do?
Find out his weakness. He must love someone.
My weakness is caramel apple pops.
Such a douche.
And yeah, I think that's where we'll
Yeah,
end the
yeah.
episode.
Oh boy.
Fuck that guy.
Ah!
Can we kill Xander next session? Is that a thing? Is everybody on board with
Right.
Operation Kill Xander?
Let's really quickly go through our goals since we're right at 8:30 now, and then we'll be done. So let's start with Qatar.
I have 2 old ones, and then I made a new one from the last one.
Okay.
Last session. I must become the best sword master, befriend Belladonna in order to find my true self.
Yeah, that still needs to happen.
Don't know how that was going to work out. I didn't mean to leave everyone behind. I must convince my family that the path I've chosen is the right one.
Mhm.
And I made a pact with Rosa. If it is safe, I must destroy the barrier between the Ringwood and the mundane world.
You made a bunch of rolls this session. I feel like you worked towards the third one at least because you're trying to like do this thing.
I think the second one with like trying to win the heart of the people.
Yep. That's fair.
If the whole town is like, yeah, this guy's awesome, then maybe she'd feel a little bit better about it. Now I've got 2 people. Well, a man and a dog.
Old man and a dog.
Don't discount that dog. Dog was just like anybody.
I mean,
2 cents in a dream.
dogs love everyone. Yeah, definitely not the first one. The second and the third.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like it's a bit of a stretch for the second one because it wasn't really your family, but
hopefully my mom was in the crowd.
I don't think she attended. She's like really not into this whole thing.
Damn it.
Yeah, okay, so we'll say 2. I would think about maybe rewriting some goals maybe before next session if you feel like you need to change any of them to like just change the wording a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, something to ponder on. Cool. So 2 fate points.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. I'll put it on a little bit later. Next, Emmeline.
So my current goals are just the 2. I must prove I'm still a reliable knight of Glasslands. I'll stop the incursions from the Ringwood.
Yep.
And I must mend my relationship with Marielle, convince her to help me with the incursions on the Glasslands.
Cool.
I don't know if I really pursued the first one, like in a direct way, but I feel like I did the second.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think I have a new goal.
Cool. What is it?
It's probably to find Qatar's weakness or something like that.
Okay, you're going along with it. Nice.
Well, so before
You know what this can be tied to? Can I make a suggestion? To get the thorn like off your back a little bit?
No, because
Okay.
before we ever got to that moment, I knew already in my mind that as soon as Emily would have seen Qatar
Yeah.
like becoming a part of this trial, that I was gonna have her seek him out and be like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
Okay.
So she's already got like an interest in doing. Now it doesn't necessarily mean she's gonna kill someone if that's what he's asking her to do, but
Right.
she's interested in being like, "What is your deal?"
Cool. Okay. Yeah. You don't have to write it right now, but yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So you followed 1. You got a fate point. Belladonna.
The Thorn of Rampion has taken my child away from me. I shall lure my child into the eye so they can be mine forever, with me forever. The Rose wants me to bring Pyotr. I will infiltrate the festival to get him to fall in love with me. I mean, I technically pursued both. I sucked at the second one.
You still tried.
I don't know if you made a roll regarding your child.
Well, I did with regards to gaining information about...
Right, but that was like the last session that you actually convinced Aaron to do that.
Yeah, but didn't I roll? Oh, no, you
Aaron
rolled.
Aaron rolled. Yeah.
Right.
It was like it was a result of your
That.
previous
So it
effort.
doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Sorry.
That's okay. But I did the second one, right?
Yeah. So you get 1 fate point. Cool. What I will suggest is maybe for the next session, if you all can start thinking about ways to compel yourselves so that you can get more fate points.
Well, aren't you supposed to compel our aspects?
I can, but you can also compel yourself to get fate points.
Gotcha. I thought you needed to either offer a fate point to another person to compel theirs, or the GM had to compel.
No, you can also ask to. You can also be like, I want to compel myself to get into trouble.
Give myself a disadvantage to gain a fate point?
Yeah.
Wait.
Like if you can think of any way that you did already play into that.
Right.
Um,
That I could have used to compel myself was used against me anyway. So
what's that?
what? No, I'm just whining over my misfortune, but it's fine.
Okay. And finally, Katerina.
That's me. Yeah. So
You worked on the
Piotr will
first
be
one.
mine. I will keep him to myself.
Yeah.
I think I pursued that pretty clearly. And I think I only made the one roll tonight.
Yeah, I think you really
Honestly.
did. Only... Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing I could maybe like try and finagle is that I was an advocate for my revealing my secret throughout the session. I don't know that that's necessarily compelling an aspect, but
I guess you kind of played into the Still a Wolf thing to complicate your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that wasn't like it didn't seem advantageous to like.
No. I was planning on holding on to that for like another 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like Piotr will never know. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yes, some witch, not naming any names, has a different idea.
I would definitely say you were setting it up to put yourself into trouble because of that Still a Wolf thing.
Okay.
So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, I'll give you one more fate point for that.
Sweet.
Cool.
I need it.
Yeah. So yes, Qatar, you got 2, and Belladonna got 1, and I'll put those in there a little bit later. Awesome.
All right.
That's our episode. Thanks everyone for playing.
We want to do shoutouts?
Yes, let's start with DC.
Hello. Shout outs to my mom, who is a blacksmith, who doesn't get it. Follow me on Twitter. That's where all of the action is. I am releasing my first full game, Mutants in the Night, the playtest beta in 4 days. It's like Friday or something. So you can play through the weekend. There's no excuse for you not to get this game. It is super juicy and awesome, and it's about running around, looking cool, being a super powered person fighting against the system, and loving your friends and community.
Woo!
It's going to be like $6.99 or something. Who knows?
Sweet. That sounds amazing. I'm really excited to play. Cool. Thanks, DC. Knox, where can we find you?
You can find me at my Twitter handle, which is under my name. I have a channel I run called Fable Tales. And then the Twitter account for that is Fable_Tales. I play in as many games as I can elbow my way into, and I try to run and/or facilitate storytelling games where I can. But follow me on the Twitters for those sweet deets.
Thank you. Amir.
Hi, I'm Amir. Finish the Hat on Instagram. I just gotta say, guys, I'm loving this so much. Like the stuff I'm not in because like I'm so new to this, but like just watching this unfold is making my life. I'm currently in the musical Come From Away here in Toronto. If you want to come see me, I am on June 10th and between July 30th and August 6th. By all means, come and check out the show. It's pretty fucking awesome. And here every other Monday.
Sweet. Dylan.
Hi. Yeah, I'm here every other Monday. I am over on Nox's channel on the other Mondays. You can see me tomorrow on my channel, which is twitch.tv/Anarisis, where I will be running a Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League Tomb of Annihilation game in which I might end up killing a player. We'll see. We'll see. It's not. There aren't that many S's in the name. It's not that hard to say. It's just an RSS. Whatever. You can check out everything that I'm doing, like all my schedule updates and whatnot, over on my Twitter, twitter.com/NRSS. And then on Saturdays, I am running a show called Fun Shots, which is a series of 1 to 3 session games with different RPG systems and different casts. This weekend, we are going to have Joel coming back along with Connor, Lauren, and Chris for episode 2 of Becoming, which is the playtest of my artificial intelligence noir RPG. And some minor adjustments were made to the game to make it slightly better, and I think they're tracking down sort of a murder mystery kind of deal, and I think they're right on the edge of some complications.
Good.
So yeah, that should be fun. But yeah, everything can be found on my Twitter or on my YouTube, where all of the recordings for past shows are, which is also an RSS. And yeah, I thank you guys so much for putting up with Katarina. She's a terrible character. I hate her so much. And yet, yeah, so and thank you, of course, to Joel for giving us a place to play these crazy, ridiculous, dramatic characters.
It's my pleasure. I just want to say thanks. I felt like the episode tonight we were playing with the pacing, stretching it out a little bit more. Like we did like longer scenes and we're taking our time figuring things out a little bit more. And that was kind of cool to do that. But yeah, I realized that meant that Nox, you were only really at the beginning there. And then we sort of pinned you in at the end. But I hope that's okay. And we can always talk about that in chat a little bit later. But I really appreciate the space to sort of play with that a little bit more and see, play with different scene lengths and stuff. So that's awesome.
Next episode, Nox episode.
Oh God, no!
Yes.
Everything is coalescing around Emily, and it's getting real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm planning to make it even worse. So.
Yeah, and I am Jolie Olio on Twitter. As Dylan said, I am on Fun Shots on Saturday. Next Monday, I'm back on Fable Tales with Nox. And yeah, then we'll be back in 2 weeks playing some more and finding out what happens to Qatar. And yeah, everyone.
I'm gonna get moited.
There's a lot of shit went down again this episode. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Every episode.
I had the most sexually tense sword fight of
Jesus Christ!
It was like
dying.
if this was a book and that was like literary scholars would be like, but did they actually fight, or was there something else going on?
Yeah. So was the explosion of the pixies an illusion, or?
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Totally.
Water. Anyway.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks everyone in chat for hanging out. See you in a couple weeks.
All right. Bye.
Later.